Welcome to Gray Overload. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Xbox and their gaming side of stuff. I mean, they just shut down studios, so hopefully, with these layoffs, people are able to get back on their feet. But we're going to focus on some of the gamings and their decisions, which you could say from a business standpoint, this makes sense. But I have very big questions on if it actually does make sense. You're trying to build momentum to an Xbox division here that has spent a lot of money, right? You have Bethesda, which I think was all the ZeniMax purchase, and then you have ABK, Activision Blizzard King, that's 70 bill or 69 billion dollars there that was spent on games and having bring that in, and now you're going through and trying to make this a good business division here shortly after that close. We're not even a year after close, and you're making these big changes after you've already done one layoff already. I think Microsoft has, or the Xbox division with Phil Spencer and everybody else, doesn't have a direction here of what they're trying to do. And maybe they were told you have to clean up finances here. We're getting, it's getting tight, whatever else. And they are on the chopping block of trying to look at everything, get everything straightened out with not realizing that they might be, you know, cutting some things a little bit too deep that leave certain gamers wanting to sit out what they're doing because they're going to be disappointed that another one of their IP is going to be on the chopping block. And Hi-Fi Rush was one of those that went through, and I believe Microsoft, if I recall, not too long ago said that this was a great release and everything else, and now you're chopping it off. Sarah Bond, the president in, yeah, she's a president in Xbox, I believe. She said, gave a huge non-answer when asked about Hi-Fi Rush. She did, though, mention that they're going to bring a Xbox mobile gaming store along, and that'll be on the web. So maybe there's a avenue there that Microsoft's going for. But when you're looking at, somebody like me that's doing PC, a lot of PC gaming, I haven't mobile gamed in years, or played a mobile game in years. But where are the games that you're going to be upcoming, and is that something that will these games that you have announced, are they actually going to make it to release? Because now you got gamers that you know it seems like from what Microsoft has said is that they're even cutting off games that had a update coming and just stopped it, and that update's never coming. That is something that eventually, if Microsoft continues down this road, and I have, I hope that they stop, but there's no reason to believe that they won't, right? This is a second cut coming from Xbox. I think that there's short-sightedness in how this will affect gamers in the long run, and and gamers in general, right? We're looking for the support of the IP that we like to play. We're looking for that next game in that series of the IP we like, and if that doesn't come, it's a huge disappointment. Huge Half-Life fan here, and I can tell you all day long how disappointed I am on uh, Half-Life and its sequels that never were able to count to three, but. If that's something that you're looking at, all of a sudden this becomes a question mark of, do you want to go down the road of supporting a game that Microsoft has, or supporting Microsoft's games that they have a tendency of killing off? And this is something I had mentioned on other Microsoft products as well, the Google effect. It's here for 3 years and then it's gone. Don't jump into the Google product because we don't know if it's going to stick around. The same approach I have now also taken with Microsoft products. Don't go in if this is something you want to use long term, because Microsoft's going to kill it off. And when you do that, the perception is that people will now wait stuff out more than they will want to jump into what your new product is, which then hurts your bottom line, which makes you have to, it cuts stuff, it's a spiral, and you never want to get in those spirals. Granted, sometimes it makes sense, you do have to cut things. I'm not saying that you have to fund things that don't make sense, but what I'm saying is when you do this enough and they're high profile enough, you get into these spirals, and it looks like Microsoft may be getting into one of those spirals in their gaming side of things, right? With all these approvals, with the ZeniMax, with ABK, with everything that they've done. They even acquired Minecraft, which was a good one that they seem to have keep going pretty seamlessly actually. um, you start to wonder what's going to happen with regulators being like, well, you said this, because it's only been what, less than a year since it closed. I'm sure that there's regulators going, hey, there's more of this Microsoft. Hey, there was this requirement here that you had to do. And it'll be interesting to see what the write down, or if Microsoft writes it down. Now, you could see a way where they're cutting all this stuff, so some of the IP would be written down, or some of the buy and purchase would be written down because that's not generated. But you know, do, how much scrutiny do you get through regulation and everything else by writing something down? I get it's financial versus regulation, but sometimes governments want to take a more scrutinized look at stuff, and I don't think Microsoft. I think they're going to be kind of careful about that side of things when they write it down, so that it doesn't draw more scrutiny from a government that was already on the fence about getting this all approved with concessions. It's what was it? Ubisoft is their cloud partner for a lot of these games in some of these countries, and you had Ubisoft didn't do you any favors by pulling the crew license from users already. This it is kind of interesting how this is going. You know, Microsoft is, as they said in here, and in some of the things I was reading about this, they want to reach 3 billion gamers and refocus towards bigger and sure bet franchises that will help them reach their goal. I get it. You want, sure bets. You want things that'll, for sure do stuff. And well, you have one of those, and that is Call of Duty. And other than that, right, you have other ones that are, probably will help get you there. But at the same time, if it's somebody like me that's on the fence about buying a game, and you've done, these pulling of games and not doing the updates and just cutting it off direct there and cutting studios, does that make me want to go out and buy a game to be able to play it, right? You're trying to get the gamer that's not going out and buying every game. What you're trying to do is build a relationship as well with the gamer that is, doesn't have all the time in the world, but needs to, when he does have time, or he or she have time, they go out and pick the game that, they want to play. And is that going to be a Microsoft game at this point? A Microsoft Studio game, an Xbox Studio. That's what you're trying to get to. And in my case, you're going to have to work a lot harder now to be able to get me over that hump, because I'm just way more unsure about this. And I was reading an article about Xbox Game Pass causes every game, and this is from WCCF Tech, and this is their headline. Let me read the headline instead of summarizing it. Xbox Game Pass causes every game launching on service to badly miss sales goals. So, if this is true, and I've read through the article, and it was when it came out, so it's been a while, and all these sales goals, actually it was yesterday. Man, time flies. It's been a busy day, or busy 24 hours, I should say. So if you're missing the sales goals here, right, is this going to be a good thing in the long term if you're trying to grow and move 3 billion gamers, or however many gamers you want, and grow the Xbox Game Pass? Or do you have to massage this and morph this into something else? I am very interested in this. I think it has to be morphed a little bit. One, you're not getting me to go to sign up for Game Pass. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't make sense financially for me to do it. I know other people that play a lot more games that it might make sense for, but but not all the games they play are on there or that they like. So guess what? You're having a lot of, oh, I don't really want to purchase this. I don't want to dive in and have a monthly occurrence. I can go buy games when I have them, and they'll just play. And they use Steam and a few other libraries already. they also have a few on Microsoft, but you have to keep them. Um, they may be more inclined to stay with Steam based upon some of the stuff that Steam's done with Helldivers and PlayStation stuff lately, right? So now you're competing on that side of things as an Xbox store as well against Steam of what they're able to do there on, making sure that you can play your game, not have all these extra accounts. There's a lot of moving parts that Microsoft has to go and initiate to, but if you're trying to grow Game Pass and not have it flatline, how do you continually do that unless you start changing some things in this to make it more attractive for, especially like my friend in this case that plays a lot more games than I do, and I mean a lot more games, how to make him want to go and sign up for it. You don't have me already because I don't play enough. When I play a game, I like to buy it, play it, and I replay a lot of games, and so you have to get over that hump. But he plays a lot of games, and you're not even able to get him into the service or the Game Pass to be able to grow your numbers. There is a problem here outside of just it's missing the sales goal. The games are missing the sales goals. You have two very big problems, and I don't know how Microsoft is going to fix it. I don't know how they're going to get over this hump so that people are wanting to sign up, and this is a good thing. And the Xbox leadership team, I don't think that this is a something that I heard someplace. Well, if Phil Spencer doesn't get this right, he has to be fired. I think that this is an instance where things aren't working well for the whole Xbox division, and I think they have to take another look at what they're doing and adjust. It's what Phil Spencer and the whole Xbox leadership team, Satya Nadella or whatever else, and says, no, Xbox Game Pass is the future. We're only going down this path, and that's it. And they don't want to see that they have to modify something. I think that's a bigger indictment than them saying this isn't working, and we have to change something. Because I'm willing to, roll the dice and go with you. If you're willing to accept that something's wrong and try to fix it, then just ignore that something's wrong and continue down the same path of it being wrong. And that's where we're at here with Xbox is, they mention and they, get leaks out and they address horribly the whole moving games to PlayStation. With your Xbox fans and stuff, I think it would be fine to move it to Xbox. Maybe you just have an exclusive period. I think that is fine. I think that there is a happy medium here, but you have to communicate it with your Xbox, your core Xbox group of Xbox fans of what is actually going on, of how you're going to, make them feel like that they are still a crucial part of your community, of your, that you still want their support for everything you do by, releasing games or whatever else, them, making them feel special. I have an Xbox, right? You want to show that they're still there rather than it doesn't matter if you have an Xbox or not. And if you can do that, as well as build outside of that, well, let's say it's cloud gaming. Let's say it's on the PlayStation, on the Nintendo, on any other gaming device that comes out there. Maybe it's also eventually if a lot of these handheld, especially with SteamOS or Linux, really take off, making sure it works with Linux, whatever. Maybe it's putting some effort into making DirectX run on Linux, and so help out Steam in the Proton layer, helping that to grow, and you get more gamers in that way, making your Xbox library work on Linux. What if there's stuff like that? If Linux gaming keeps continuing to go, and you're here to all these avenues, and you bring all those gamers into your ecosystem with all the games that you have, and that hey, the games that we have, we're going to stick with them until we feel like all the updates are done, even if we get rid of the studio after that point because it didn't make enough money. We want to follow through on it. I think that is a better option here than what Microsoft is kind of approaching right now. And I get it. You may have to cut things, but I think that you need to build up with your community in this instance, because gaming is kind of a more community thing than, let's say, business side of, Azure, right? You can make a decision as Azure, business decision, here it is, whatever. And businesses have to adapt pretty quickly. But when the gaming community, we just saw with Sony, which they said that they're still learning. Maybe Microsoft's still in that camp of still learning, even though that they've been in this industry, in this arena for decades, is of games. Maybe that they don't see that the gaming community, when it comes together, is can be pretty stubborn. Can be, maybe just return a whole bunch of games and make Sony have to change on their login side of things. And I think gamers are starting to realize what power they have, and you going off and cutting and all these studios of people that like games and everything else, and not having great communication and not communicating well on why this is happening. Your two layoffs here, not having your showcase until next month, you know, and not having anything kind of really ironed out yet on the Microsoft side is disappointing. And I think that a lot of gamers are going to, if you don't fix things, they're not going to support you and be with you in the long haul, which is only going to cause this problem to be a lot worse. How is Microsoft going to fix this? Only time will tell. I really hope that they kind of get this right, because I had, you can go back in videos, and I had my reservations about the ABK being bought by them. I said I don't think it's going to turn out well for gamers, and they're not going to be, wanting to put the best foot forward and be competitive. And I hate it that it turns out more and more every day that I'm being more and more right. And the one thing I did say is I wanted to be good for gamers, and I want to have more games to play and more IP to play, which is not what is happening. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Sorry about me ranting here, but hopefully you enjoyed it. I really do appreciate you listening to Gray Overload and watching it, helping out the channel, supporting it. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and watching another one of my videos really does help out the channel, and I really appreciate it. Until next time, God bless.